Hello, this is Zach from iCodeTeacher.com. Today I'm going to teach you how to set up your application for distribution to the App Store, including how the development portal works on Apple's site, how to install your mobile provisions to install your application on your device, how to distribute your application via the ad hoc method, basic Xcode preferences, and also how to double check that your application was successfully built before submitting it to the App Store. So let's go ahead and get started. What we're going to do is we're going to head straight to Apple's website. I'm going to open up Safari here. And I'm going to head to developer.apple.com. And you can log in by going to Dev Centers, the iPhone Dev Center, and clicking the login button. I'm already logged in. Once you're logged in, you can click on the iPhone Developer Program Portal. This is going to be where you generate all your certificates and mobile provisioning profiles to install in Xcode to get your apps working. First thing you're going to want to do is click on the Certificates tab. You should already have a certificate with your name that Apple issued, and if you don't, it'll allow you to create one. So you can go ahead and download that, and make sure that you also download the WWDR Intermediate Certificate. Once you have those downloaded, it's very easy to install. The How-To tab here will help you to create your certificate signing request, which you'll be able to download and install into Keychain Access. And you only have to do this once, so after you do this, it'll all be set up for every app that you build after that. After you get your certificate installed, you're going to need to add your devices. You can find your device ID once your iPhone is plugged in. So once your phone is plugged in, you can go to Xcode and click on Window Organizer. All of your phones that you have connected to your computer will show up here on the left. The one with the green circle shows the one that's currently plugged in. So you click on that and wait for it to load up. As you can see, your identifier is right here. So you can go ahead and copy that, and you could paste that into Xcode and add your new device. So as an example here, I'll click Add Device. You could type in your device name and paste your identifier in there and click Submit, and it will have added your device into the portal. After your devices are added into the portal, you're going to need to connect your devices with the mobile provisioning profiles that you're going to need to download and install into Xcode. This way it will know that the application is okay to be installed on your device, so that you are actually a registered member of Apple's program. An application ID is a unique set of characters that Apple will generate for your account. Now, if you want to be able to give your application anything, if you want to make your life easier, you can make one app ID with an asterisk right here, and essentially that will allow you to use this same app ID for all of your applications. Again, going to the How-To tab is very quick and easy on how to set this up. Shows you how to generate an app ID, step-by-step instructions, registering an app, and whatnot. The provisioning profiles are very easy to set up. This is where you will set up your regular provisioning profiles and your ad hoc profiles. So if you want to add a new profile, we'll just click the New Profile button. You'll give it a name. You'll select the certificate that you want it to go with, and you select the app ID that you created in the app ID section. You'll also want to select all the devices that you're going to want it to work with, and then submit it. And your provisioning profiles will appear as follows. You'll then be able to download your provisioning profile. For example, I'm going to go ahead and download this one, and you'll be able to install it on your device by, again, opening up Xcode, going to Window Organizer. My window's already been left open, and where it says Provisioning, you can click the plus sign and select the profile that you'd like to install, and it will go ahead and install the profile. Now, assuming your WWDR certificates are installed and you've set up your keychain access properly, when you go to create an application, let's go ahead and say just a regular view-based application. I'm going to call this just test. It's no big deal here. Now this is a default blank application here, so nothing's on it. We just created it, and nothing is going to be set up to distribute or anything. So what we're going to need to do is, if you come up here to where it says test, this is the name of our project, and right click and click on get info. We'll go to the build tab and we'll see our basic settings for this project. Here we see active, debug, and then all configurations, debug, and release. We'll get to that in a second. Your base SDK should be your iPhone device 3.1, assuming we're trying to get our application on the device. If you're going to put on the simulator, whatever, it really doesn't matter. It'll still work in the simulator even if this is iPhone device. But when it comes time to build, you want to make sure that this is iPhone device 3.1 or whatever version of the SDK you want to use. Your code signing is when it gets a little bit complicated. Here it shows iPhone developer, which is basically the default profile that we have installed. Now when you click here, it should show all the profiles that you've installed. You really only need 2. If you install duplicates, it'll show the date of the profile that you installed. This is in case you've added another device or removed a device from your profile and you had to re-download it and reinstall it. So it shows all the different versions I have here. And I usually go with the latest one because that was the latest change that I needed. So here you can see there's an ad hoc profile and there's a regular profile, and this would be for distribution. So you see iPhone developer and then your name. So you select that, and that should be all that you need to install your program on your device. So when you go to build and go, it's going to link code sign installing the test application on the 3GS. And the application is now running on my device. Now, let's say we wanted to distribute our application. How would we get this ready? If we right click, go to get info, we need to go to our configurations tab. We need to click on the release option in this configuration list and click on duplicate. When we do this, we need to type in distribution. This is going to create a duplicate of the release configuration called distribution so that we can select this from our drop down for the distribution. So we now have the distribution option, and when we come here to configuration, we want to click on distribution and select our distribution profile. Now, in addition to your regular profile, you're going to want to download a distribution profile. I have one installed down here, new distribution profile, iPhone distribution, and then the company name. Once you select this correct profile, your application is ready to be built for distribution on the App Store. What you need to do now is, on this drop down, you need to be able to go under active configuration and select distribution and make sure that it says device 3.1 or whatever version you're building under. So device, distribution. That's very important when you're building your application for distribution. What you want to do before you build is go to build, clean all targets. This is going to make sure there's no errors, everything's in the project ready to go. And just go ahead and hit the clean again just to make sure everything's out. Alright, now you can go to build and you just build the app, make sure there's no more errors, build succeeded. It should be ready to go. But we're going to double check this. We're going to check for a code sign and entitlements in our application. So I'm going to click on this succeed link right here, and it'll bring us up to our build results. And if we click this little tiny tab right there, it will show specific information about the recent build. So we see there's a code sign in here, and we're going to check the directory just to make sure that everything is okay. So we have users, zcarter desktop in the test folder, the build folder, and then distribution. That's very important that you see distribution there, not debug. Okay? So we know our code signing is good. Now we're going to go up and we're going to check our entitlements. If you can't find it, because there's a lot of text in here, just hit Command F and type in part of entitlements and it will show you. As long as there's an entitlements anywhere here in this entire build, you are good to go. So there's an entitlements.plist that's important to find. So we found the entitlements.plist. We know the entitlements are included. Now, in your info.plist, before you do all of this building, this is very important to make sure that before you distribute your app to the store, that the version is correct. For example, if I've released version 1.0 already, and I try to upload it to the App Store as version 1.0 for the second time, Apple's going to reject that. So you want to make sure your bundle version is correct. Your bundle identifier should be exactly what you named for your bundle identifier in the portal. It should match. Your product name can be basically whatever you want because you had the asterisk. So you're okay. The bundle display name is what's going to display under the icon on the iPhone. For example, if I would just want to call this test app, go ahead and build and go. But before I do that, I need to select iPhone simulator and debug, just to show you here that the display name is okay. So we're going to debug here. It's going to load up with nothing because it's a blank project. But if we come out here, we see right here, test app. So I'm going to go ahead and close out here. And so we know that works. Now, let's say we wanted to distribute using the ad hoc method. All that you need to do is you need to download an ad hoc mobile provisioning profile. And again, if you have trouble with the profiles, Apple makes it extremely simple to set all this up by using the Launch Assistant. So we can go to the Launch Assistant and go through all the options. It'll make you select your app ID, and if you don't have one, it'll have you build one, and it'll explain everything. Very simple, step by step. This wasn't here when I first started doing this, so it was a lot more difficult, but it's very easy now. So do the provisioning assistant, make sure your provisions are installed, get your ad hoc distribution profile, and what you're going to want to do is go back up into the application name, click on Get Info, and you're going to want to select the ad hoc distribution profile. In this case, mine is called Circles One Profile Ad Hoc. So you go ahead and click that, and you're now set for an ad hoc distribution. You have to make sure that your profiles are correct before distributing your app, whichever method you're using. So it's set for ad hoc distribution. Now, again, important, we need to make sure we go back to distribution and device. Now, Apple requires one additional step that isn't required in a regular distribution to the App Store, and that's including an entitlements. And that means we have to build our own entitlements file rather than having it built for us. So what we need to do is we'll click on the Resources tab, and we'll click on Add, New File, Entitlements, Code Signing. So I'm going to click Next, and I'm going to call this entitlements.plist. Okay, now finish. And Apple asks you to uncheck Get Task Allow. It's pretty simple. So once we do that, go ahead and hit Command S, save it. Go back into the test application, Get Info, and under code signing, there's code signing entitlements. All we need to do is type in entitlements.plist right here. X out, and your ad hoc application is ready to go. So go ahead and click Build, clean all targets one more time, and build again. And it should show Build Succeeded. Now we click the Succeed link. We have our code sign, and we have our entitlements, distribution, and the code sign also led to the distribution. So we have checked that. It is now ready for distribution. Now to get your app, we've built it, we know it's ready. Now where do we get it? Well, you click on Products, right click on the name of your application, click Reveal in Finder, right click on the app and click Compress. The application is now ready for distribution. The zip file is what you will upload to the App Store as your file. If you're distributing it as an ad hoc distribution, you're going to need to add the person's identifier into the mobile provisioning profile, as I showed you how to do before, and you're going to want to send them that mobile provisioning profile. All that you need to tell them to do is to drag that mobile provisioning profile that you send them over the iTunes icon, or drag it into the iTunes library and automatically install the provision on their computer, and to have them drag the application into iTunes. Now, to actually distribute your application, you need to do this through iTunes Connect. So, for example, we'll log into itunesconnect.apple.com. You go to Manage Your Applications, and you click on Add New Application, and you say if your product contains encryption. In most cases it's no. And you begin adding the application with their wizard. At the end, it's going to ask you to upload a 512 by 512 icon, which is going to be the small application icons that you see on the iTunes Store, and also a 57 by 57 icon for your app, which is going to show up on the iPhone. You also need to take screenshots of your application, and if you don't know how to do that, you can hold the home button and hit the top right lock button on your iPhone, just home and then lock, and then you'll hear it take a picture, and that's a screenshot that's going to save in your photos, which you can upload using iPhoto from your phone, and then you can convert it to a JPEG because that's the format that Apple requires. After all that's completed, you'll select your prices and you will upload your application and wait for it to be reviewed by Apple. It's actually pretty simple after you get used to the concept of distributing applications. The more times you do it, the easier it gets. That is going to conclude the tutorial today for the Dev Portal and distributing your application to the store. Xcode can be sort of a pain in the butt sometimes when you're loading your mobile provisions in there. You may get a few errors when first getting it going. Just make sure all your settings are correct, that you have installed all of the certificates that I mentioned, and that you've read all of the how-tos in Apple's developer portal, and it should be simple. My name is Zach from mycodeteacher.com. That concludes my tutorial for today. I'll see you next time.